Hey, it's Arrow, and this is Vocal Defrag, asking the questions and then questioning the answers. We do this on a transition walk. Plus, I also defrag in a journal every single day. We all have questions, and you should discipline yourself to sit down and basically ask the questions instead of hemming and hawing, instead of worrying about stuff that you have no control over. Get control of your personal life by defragging, understanding where you are and how you can grow from it. And if you can't, then maybe you should do a Swedish death cleaning, and that is, if you can't have any value in this, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. This is Vocal Defrag. This time around, while we walk through this forest in South Charlotte, North Carolina, a transition walk is going through exactly that. You're going through a mental transition. And we walk through this beautiful forest. It's supposed to be like 80 some odd degrees today. The hell. It's only 63 right now, the cloudy skies. So yeah, that kind of stuff plays hell on my heart. But I want to put focus on two words this time around. And those two words are frontline and catalog. Frontline and catalog. For an author, a musician, even for an artist, we all have catalogs. You've heard about these musicians such as Bob Dylan and Mick Fleetwood. They've all sold their catalogs. It's material that hasn't been heard before, or it has been heard. And so we sit there in our own personal lives and create enormous amounts of thought that we put in a catalog. We collect everything and hold on to it for way too long. So what is frontline? Well, frontline versus a catalog is that if it's 18 months old and newer, that's called the frontline. That means the things that you've been dealing with this week at work or in your home, you're frontlining. That says that we can deal with this in the moment of now, and we can work on trying to preserve the good while learning from the bad. So being able to separate your own personal experiences. First of all, you got to understand that I think that everybody is an artist. Doesn't matter what job you do. I don't care if you're a librarian, to a banker, to somebody at the stock market. We are all creative, and we keep catalogs, mental catalogs of our ambitions, our failed dreams, relationships that worked and didn't work, friendships you wish you had, but it will never happen. And how about all those friends on social media? We catalog everything. But which ones are you going to deal with? Are you going to frontline, or are you going to dig into the catalog? How I handle situations like that in the real world when it comes to podcasting, I have 12 years of cataloged interviews. You name it, thousands of them. But I also keep a frontline list. Those are the ones where I have the interviews 18 months and newer. Keeping things in the can like that allows me to have enough air to breathe when it comes to really putting a format to work. And I believe that our own personal lives should have a format. 90% of the time I sit there and say, well, what is your daily discipline? It's the same thing. What is your format today? What are your intentions today? What have you got planned that's been on your frontline list for a couple of days to 18 months? Being able to separate things in order like that helps you define where you are in your place of right now. Because so many times I'll walk up to people, where are you at? I don't know. Well, you have a goal? Are you working on something? Where are you at when it comes to getting stuff done? I don't know. Well, I'm that person that's going to go and do some research. I want to figure out what I don't know means, and where is I don't know on a map. I used to laugh as a child when I would see a bus, a Greyhound. Up there in the front, it says what city they're headed to. You know, like Seattle, Spokane, LA. I laughed at the ones that said charter. I said, where the hell is charter? Well, I was that guy that had to go research charter and turn it into a story. Turn it into, wow, what is it like to be at Charter USA? Can you be the mayor? Are you running the post office? Oh my God, you're that dude that's always at the railroad track. Charter. Well, I feel the same way about Frontline and catalog. Where is this bus going? Your bus. You are a vehicle. You were designed before you became a human attraction to be someone who was going to carry a lot of things forward. You inspire, and let's be honest, we all have those moments where people don't want anything to do with us. We all go through it, but we're carrying it forward. On your bus, what does the sign say? What's on your Frontline list? What have you been cataloging? What should you do in the way of letting stuff go and doing the Swedish death cleaning mentally? That's a tough cookie, because just like the real thing, Swedish death cleaning, you've got all these objects in front of you that have sentimental value, and suddenly you're challenging yourself to get rid of it? Okay, now you face the picture. What's the new me going to look like? Oh, more anxiety. People always try to revamp or reinvent their entire process of growing forward, when in fact we're not growing forward. What we're doing is we're spinning circles. I had a guy yesterday tell me this amazing line. It was Bob Crawford from the Avett Brothers. He says, history doesn't repeat itself. People just keep doing the same stuff over and over again. It was like, what? What? It is so true. History does not repeat itself. It's just that we keep doing the same stuff over and over again. We catalog it, or we frontline it. Getting away from those habits is not going to be an easy thing. Living in a place of now, living in the present, is a journey. It's not a one-day thing. It's like becoming a black belt in martial arts. It took me years to get up to the first dan, and then to get up to third dan, it even required more years, with a heart attack somewhere in the middle. Cataloging where you presently stand. There's no such thing. That's frontlining. Where you presently stand is on the frontline list. How you deal with everything 18 months in age and newer is your frontline list. You're probably going to get things done there. Or, if you're going to be like most people, you're going to procrastinate. You're going to set it aside. And that's not a healthy place either. But then there are some scientists that say that procrastination is the greatest thing, because you're relieving your mind, body, and soul of the stresses of constantly multitasking. I wrote about that this morning in the way that why are so many people not focused? We're distracted. And one of the major issues of trying to get back into a well-focused life is multitasking. It says, stop doing it. The mind is sure, it's a beautiful thing. It'll hold on to a lot of information. You have the ability to work like a computer and have several folders open at the same time. But with everything else that's going on in the world, that open folder is creating a major distraction in your life. So now, do you put it on your frontline list, or is it going to become part of the catalog on 18 months and one day? I'm a daily writer. We've talked about this a billion times on Vocal Defrag. Daily writing gives me the opportunity to find out where my head and heart are. First of all, I think everybody should go spend some time with a professional. Listen to the professional. Exercise the mental ability that the professional is going to share with you. And then do it on your own. Don't become a codependent to somebody who you think has all the answers. People do that with religion. This is not a knock. This is not a knock. I went to God because my life was going to hell, so I gave everything to God. Well, I did. But the thing is, though, is that God looks at me and says, okay, you're doing good, dude, but you don't need to be leaning on me as much as you do. Come on, grow a pair. So that's what you have to do today, or maybe that's the lesson today. Figure out what's on your frontline list versus what you think you're cataloging. It's not a catalog if you can get it done now and it just happened a week ago. I'll say that a million times, but it's going to help you understand how you can move through any storm that you're facing. Sure, it's okay to create a list. I do it all the time with my podcasting. I have interviews that I did this past week. Okay, basically, they're on that frontline list. But in order to gain control of your format, of your bus, does it say charter? Does it have a destination? And if it does have a destination, why aren't you working on it? Well, I'm frontlining. I put it to the side right now because I don't have time. I hear them all. I deal with them all. And you know what? I have to face the image in the mirror as well. And I have to put up with his excuses and other people's excuses. And this is why this person couldn't come to work today because this was in the way. And you go, okay, what led to that moment? On your frontline list, what led to your last decision? Now let's dig in your catalog. What led to you having something on your Frontline list that keeps repeating itself? Yeah, history doesn't repeat itself. We don't change. I'm Errol, and that's Vocal Defrag.